Welcome back to Dream of Mirror Online. As promised, at this point I'm going to take a bit of a break from dungeon work and I'm going to show you how to do alchemy. There is a little quest which one of the NPCs will give you for it, and I found it to be a decent little quest when I was replaying the game as my other character, so I will actually go do it here. So you can see it is in your quests here, Alchemy Mission. Find worker number 1 at Job Seekers to learn about alchemy. And it is a decent little quest. It gives you the basics of what you need. And here are users selling items. Mostly users sell items from the item store because you buy these with real money, but most of them can be traded or sold in-game. So people will do that, and it is, honestly, I think it makes the whole system more fair, especially because most of the items are honestly not that big a deal. You don't need them. But anyway, we can talk more about that another time. Right now we need to talk about alchemy. Here is worker number 1. I am worker number 1. My job is to teach people about collection and alchemy. Do you want to learn about collection and alchemy? Yes. Go to Eversun Temple and collect 20 or more red fragments and bring them back. Take trial collection ticket with you and go to Eversun Temple to find the collector Jason Marshall. You'll be provided with the tools for free. Alright, and the temple, there are actually 4 different temples or shrines in Eversun. The shrine here is a Taoist shrine, and here Eversun Hall is actually Christian. There's really no one in it, but it has a bunch of crosses, so there you are. And here's the temple. This is going to be, I believe, a Buddhist temple, and I think the sanctuary over here is actually a mosque. They did try to, showcase a lot of the religions which would be present in a Chinese setting. And so here we are. Not so much Christianity, but in modern China, I know that a few people have converted. A few. I think the only country I can think of in East Asia which is significantly Christian is Korea, South Korea, but oh well. So here we are. This is going to be the Buddhist temple, and we can do the item collection there. So the red fragments are largely used for weapons. In this case, we are using it for something slightly different. Also, hello, sir. But here we need to talk to the marshal, and you can see the temples are very pretty. I love their designs. I have the camera set a little weirdly just so you can see a little bit of the higher up details. And yeah, your character will actually disappear if you're clipping through the wall. It's very funny, but I mean, that's what's called a free camera movement. I can do anything with my camera, even things which really shouldn't be done. But I like being able to see things at different angles, so I do enjoy playing with that. Here we are. Hello, heroine. I'm Jason Marshall, the merchant of his meditation area. Ah, you've got the collection trial voucher. Although you aren't a beginner anymore, you can still exchange that with me for free tools. Alright, so now I have the Dabbler's Incense. I'll explain how you can collect items. See the little animation in the bottom left of the screen? Try left clicking it. Here it is. The collection interface will appear. Put the tool I just gave you in there, and then you can start. Give it a go. Alright, here we are. I will show you how it works. So here I can start meditating. I have the Dabbler's Incense, which only has 60 durability, so I can only collect 60 red shards with it. And here we are, I am meditating, and this item collection is passive. You can actually just go AFK while it's going on. I have mixed feelings about this feature. On one hand, it's really not that big a deal, especially nowadays when you consider how powerful computers are, to just put the game AFK and go do other stuff. On the other hand, it does take a while. Like, I'm going to be getting 60 fragments. I am just going to do the whole thing, and I'll come back when it's done and show you the rest of it. But yeah, there you are. Now here, I've collected the first red fragment, and I will get 60 of them out of that. Now, I will show you the commoner skills quickly here. You start out with level 1 in everything, and that will only get you the level 1 tools. There are multiple levels of collection, and you will need more of them or higher levels in order to make higher level equipment. And then alchemy is a little bit different. Now with all of these, if you put your level up, then you can just collect the higher grade items. Alchemy, however, has a level cap. So if you raise your alchemy level to another level, then your level cap will be level 19. And you actually have to level up your alchemy by crafting things using alchemy. It does not just automatically go to the highest next level. You have to actually do it. It is a bit frustrating, and that's why I think that you should get started and crafting basic items you need early on in the game, so that you don't find that at a later stage in the game you really need something and your alchemy level is too low to craft it. It's something which you should, I think, be doing concurrently with the regular gameplay. In fact, I had this issue. There is a gap between the level 35 set of armor and the level 40 set of armor, where you don't get the level 40 armor from the stores. You have to either get it from quests, and these are difficult quests in dungeons full of monsters which aggro, so it's very hard to do them solo, or you have to get this armor by crafting it. And my alchemy level was nowhere near high enough because I'd been doing almost no alchemy. So I was sitting there at like level 40, still using the level 35 armor, and I was getting hit so hard. It was very frustrating. So it's really important, if you don't want to have that little issue, to work on your alchemy. Or you could neglect it, but I think you should work on your alchemy. However, the collection tool, these items you get through collecting can be bought from other users. I will show you later on. There are 2 users at the moment, as of 2022 while I'm playing, who regularly sell them. One has better prices than the other, and I will show you that later on. So for now, I'm just going to set Cumlin up, doing more meditation, and I will see you when it's... I'm so sorry. Clearly that's a sign I should have stopped talking already. I will see you when we are done collecting all of the red fragments. Alright, so I have finished collecting the red shards. I now have 60 of them, and I have used up all of the incense, and it's time to talk to worker number 1 again. Excellent, you have a lot of red fragments. I shall give you a reward. We get experience. Next, take these red fragments and have them refined. 20 red fragments will make 1 red powder. You cannot refine the items yourself. You must entrust this work to a refiner. Use the raw materials you have gathered and have them refined into ingredients. You can use alchemy to turn these ingredients into a new product. First thing you need to do is find the master refiner. In the Ironmonger in Eversun City, there is a master refiner. If possible, avoid using the apprentice, as they'll only produce inferior products. That's all you need to do. Come back to me when you have got red powder. Now, what the case is here, that's not quite well explained. It's a little detailed, but it's not that detailed. They could have said so. Basically, also, hello kitty. So basically, the apprentice refiners will only make the most basic grade of the red powder. The master refiner has a small chance, I think, of creating an item which has a higher quality, and that will add more bonuses to your item that you craft using that material. But it's honestly not that big a deal. I use the apprentice refiners in the collection area all the time, and I've never had a problem with it. The chance of getting the good stuff from using the master refiner is just, it's not so good that it's worth making a big fuss over. Alright, so right now only one person selling refining materials is available. This person calls their stall Grand Marshal, in contrast to Johnny Marshall. They have very high prices. You can see that the applewood, which is the lowest grade of lumber you can get, is being sold for 1.1k. That's a pretty bad price. It's very high. So I've sometimes used them when I really need to out of convenience, but overall I absolutely prefer to wait for the other person who usually sets their stall up a bit later in the evening. Right now it's 7 p.m. where I am in, wait, should I tell you where I am? Anyway, it's 7 p.m. for me right now, and it's usually later in the evening that the other person shows up. So they have much better prices. I believe they sell the lowest grade of materials for 300 gold each, and I prefer when I have enough money later in the game to just stock up. But anyway, here we are. Now we can refine the red powder, the red fragments, into red powder. Oh, actually there was a slight inefficiency. We missed 1. Instead of 60, I have 59. That's very annoying because now I have these leftover red fragments I can't use unless I do more refining. And I'll basically always, because normally you get 100% accuracy with it, so I'll always just have 19 left over, no matter what I do. So I'm just going to sell them actually. I know it doesn't sell for much, but at this point we're still poor, so I think it's worth it. All right, we need to go back and talk to worker number 1 now, and he will give us a very cheap little recipe, very easy little recipe, which uses the red powder. Normally the powders are only used for a few things. The major thing you use them for is crafting weapons, but you can also use the powders in the merchant job in order to make snacks for your pets. Pets are a feature in the game. They're like a little animal companion or a spirit companion, because some of them are actually spirits, not animals. But they basically fight with you and they're really good. It's like having a second player with you practically, except they're not as smart. And when I say that they're not exactly animals, all of them, you can see here someone is playing with their pet, and that it's a girl. It's definitely not an animal. So they're more like a sort of spirit companion, like some of them, like the girls, and there's also a male one. They're more like fairies, I guess you could call it. So anyway, they're not exactly a pet as in an animal, so it's kind of awkward wording. But yeah, there is a quest in the game a little later on where you can get a pet for free. Normally you have to buy them in the item mall, unfortunately. And you can also buy them from other users, but they're pretty expensive. I believe I have seen the token which you can use to get a pet. Unfortunately, it's a gacha system. I've seen users selling it for 50,000 gold in their stalls, and that is not much. At this stage of the game, yes, we're very poor, and it sounds like a lot, but I regularly, at level 40-something, get 13, 20k by fighting enemies to level up. And all of the items I sell then, I get like up to 20k. So you can see how that would add up really quickly, and you would be able to afford something like that, no problem. So that is totally not an issue, and the pet you get through the pet quest later on is very good. But we can't do it at this low level, it's a higher level quest. Excellent work, you have got red powder, I should reward you. Now we get some experience points, and we can repeat that to obtain other items. And he's also going to give us the recipe. Unfortunately, the text is right here where the speech bubble is. That's so annoying. A very annoying little quirk, but again. Alright, next I will teach you how to use alchemy to create multiple junior vitamin pill. First, I'll give you one junior vitamin pill recipe. Now, we've learnt the recipe for it, and we need to open our skill window here. In the everyday skills, click on alchemy, yep. And then the recipe will be there, and we can use the red powder to make it. And he wants us to come back when we've succeeded, so he'll probably give us a little reward for it. So here we are, alchemy. It's currently only level 1. I believe that at this point the cap on my alchemy level should be level 9, but of course I don't have anything right now. So the vitamin pill, this is really not very good. It only recovers 40 HP. This recovers 80 HP, so you can see it's not great, but the medicine recipes are honestly not very common in this game. In fact, I'll be talking a little more about alchemy and crafting in a bit. Let's first just do this. We can now make 2 pills, or yeah, that's 2. I clicked 8, but yeah, you can just say max, and it'll give you the maximum amount. And here we are. You can see that when we craft, we have a little crucible or furnace, whatever you want to call it, which is used to craft, and we have a pretty fancy animation for it. And ta-da! We have made 1 pill, and we're going to make another pill. And at this stage, we level up very quickly, so that leveled up our alchemy to level 2. Alright, now I can talk to him again. Very good, you've succeeded in the alchemy attempt. I shall give you a reward. Experience points. I've taught you the basics of alchemy. I can't read this part. Something, work hard at it, and one day you can make a living from it. I also know of some advanced skills too. Come back again if you want to try them. I believe there's something called high-level alchemy, which is, I've actually never done it. It is very high level, you won't need it for a long time, so don't worry about that. For now, basic alchemy will get us very, very far. So, now I can look a little more at this. We have different collecting things we can do, like the meditation, in order to get raw materials which can then be refined in order to level up in order to then craft items with alchemy. I personally don't recommend leveling all of these up. You need a lot of skill points to get these to the higher levels, and especially alchemy. You really need to get alchemy to a high level. And the problem is that some of them are less useful than others. In particular, I don't personally recommend putting points into farming or fishing at first. You may find you want to, but the thing is that these items are only really used for making medicine, and there are not that many recipes for medicine in the game. You mostly just buy medicine at the store, or you can sub in skills from a different job like doctor, which have healing innately. That's honestly much better. I would recommend instead focusing on forestry, which is used to make clothing and to upgrade some of your tools as like a martial artist, for instance. mining, which is used to get glass and copper and things like that, which are used to make light armor and a lot of weapons like the swords. And also heavy armor is made with mining. Herding is animal husbandry, and you get animal products which are used to make robes and dancers' costumes. So that's very useful. Meditation is used for getting the powders used to make weapons. And then there's alchemy. I think those are the ones to put points into. So that's why I have not actually allocated any of my points yet as a commoner, because I did want to talk about this more and kind of show it off to you. Right now you can do the grade 1 collection, so it's not a big deal. So you might as well wait. It's only at, I believe, level 19, the level 20 armor, level 18 to 20 armor. That is where you're going to need the higher level collection grades. All right, at this point, we need to find some recipes. We can't craft anything if we don't have recipes, right? Well, I have got here from the wiki. I took a screen cap of a little map. I'll link you on the wiki to it. The page on the wiki for every single area will include a map which shows the locations of all of the recipes and also the NPCs who sell recipes, because there are NPCs who sell them. And you can get a bunch of recipes in Eversun just by exploring the city. I will be doing that now, and I'll show you where they all are. And so there we are. All right, I do remember the very first one is here. Nanny Shine will actually tell you about it, so I might as well do this one first since it's closest to me and she does talk about it. Hello. Let's see. Never mind, she does not. I thought someone did talk to you about it, but here is the first pot. This is the recipe for... It didn't tell me because I got an achievement. I don't like achievements in games, they're just noisy. Alright, so what was this recipe? Bolstering broth. This is a healing item. Probably won't be using that one. And up next, there is also a recipe up there to the north. So I will show you that one next. Might as well. This is definitely a thing you should do in new areas, unless it has some enemies that go aggro and you can't get to them yet. You should definitely try to get all the recipes in one go so that you're not wondering, did I get all the recipes in Eversun or do I need to get some others next? It's very frustrating if you do that. I did that the first time. So you can see the recipe pot is here. And now I've learned the recipe for leather helm, which is the level 10 light armor helm. And up next, I can sneak through here. And this is a slightly later quest for another city, so do it a little later, don't worry about him yet. I know it feels very mean to just ignore him when he's in trouble, but I'm not going to Darkdale yet, which is where he wants you to deliver a letter, so don't bother with him yet. I know, again, that feels really mean, but what can you do? Let's see, oh, the map on my tablet isn't showing the location of all the places. That's very frustrating. I'm trying to remember where it is and I don't remember. I might actually have to go get this on Firefox. I hate doing that. I really prefer not to be using two. Alright, so unfortunately I lost a tiny bit of my recording. I hit the wrong button and I accidentally stopped it without realizing it. Whoops. But I didn't really miss anything terribly important. I picked up a few more recipes and at this stage I just need to find the next recipe, which is somewhere here. That is the Eversun Elder. He gives you some quests and honestly, I hate his quests. I'm serious, they're the worst. They're very strange. He makes you get teams of people of different heights, or I'm dead serious, he wants you to find teams of people with different cup sizes. Why? So I don't particularly care for his quests, so whatever. So they're a commoner's coat, that is the first level of clothing for the top piece. And hello little doggy. We just need to get the next recipe, which is going to be over in the boutique. And for the time being, I'm just going to ignore these stalls because I can't afford anything from them anyway, nor do I need anything from them when I'm at such a beginner level. It's not the boutique, it's the outfitters. Whatever, the recipe is here. I believe it's here. Yes, here it is. And that is a recipe for peasant pants, trousers. Now I also believe that one of the people here, this man, Fabian Marshall, he sells you recipes, but they're kind of expensive, and all of these recipes can be found in other locations, I believe. There might be some, like the low-level weapon recipes, which you do have to buy from him, but most of them, like the extra clothing recipes, you can find these in different locations on the map instead. They're kind of expensive at this early stage of the game, so I wouldn't really recommend buying them yet if you can find them elsewhere. So the next recipes in Eversun, I believe there's one behind the bank. As said, if I can, I would rather just find them all in one go so that I don't have to worry about missing any of them later. Alright, so it's behind the bank, and then we also have one which is, alright, a little bit further to the west. So it's somewhere around this area. Let's just take a look for it. I know in the past I actually ignored certain recipes even though I could get them because I didn't really want to. Oh, here, this woman tells you about the recipe box. You should go off and look for some pots. There's usually some really good loot hidden inside them. The better the stuff, the higher the level you need to be to get it. Oh, and don't break them. Sometimes there are children hiding inside them. So actually you just get recipes. So that is the vitamin A pill, which is the pill I have here. And it's worth crafting early on, but as said, I just don't particularly care to put points into the collection tools, which are skills which are required for making medicine, because you need a lot of points to put into other stuff. So this one does 80 HP, and then the bolstering broth recovers 9 HP every 5 seconds for 1 minute. I honestly don't consider this really worthwhile because Doctor has a skill called Regeneration, which recovers HP for a longer period of time, and it's just better than using an item like this. It's not really worth it. So currently I've only found a few clothing items. This is most of the level 10 clothing. We're just missing, I believe, the boots. And I also did find a little bit of the leather armor. Some of it is in another location. I think it's in Eversun North, so I will be doing that next. And then we have 2 more recipes to find. One is down by the church, and then one is over to the east. Okay, I know where they are now, so I can show you where they are and we can go do that. Alright, which side is it? But it is around here. The one thing is that the draw distance on items is not perfect, so you do have to be relatively close before it'll show up in front of you. And that's just inevitable. I mean, a lot of games, even nowadays, they don't have perfect draw distances. I would say for the age of the game, it's a pretty good draw distance. And here we are, wooden slippers, so those are now the final set of clothing for level 10, and we have one more we can find way over to the east. If I can get off of this ledge. The ledge is a little too high up there to walk over, which is really funny because you're a sylph and you should just be able to float over it, but yeah. I think here we are. The auto walk is honestly pretty good. Usually your character does a pretty good job of finding a path which will get you where you need to go. So it is absolutely a good feature, which I am very fond of, and it does make it easier when you need to go somewhere and you don't want to control your character all the time, so you just kind of go auto walk, auto walk. Alright, so the last item, I do want to show you this one because I actually had a bit of trouble finding it when I was playing on my other character. I got lost a lot, thinking it was in a different location to what it is. It is in this courtyard over here, the player community, which I've really never used this feature. Maybe I should check it out sometime. So it's somewhere around here. There it is. Now that is all of the recipes in Eversun North. Eversun City. No, we also have Eversun North. So I'm going to now go to Eversun South, and I will show you a few of the recipes, but most of them, they're pretty obvious. Like, you can find them by looking for them when you go to the right coordinates on the map. Although I'm very bad at using the coordinates on the map, so there you are. This is the Taoist temple, and as you can see, there's a Taoist priest there with the horsetail whisk, and there is a Taoist here who you talk to in order to take the quest you need for becoming a Taoist. He's called Wally the Wizard. It pains me greatly, but that's what his name is in the English version of the game. It's quite bad. Honestly, one thing, I do think that the Dormal Wiki is very good as far as giving you information about gameplay, the levels of different enemies, where all the stuff is in the game, all of the metadata about the different jobs. However, there's one area where I do think it falls a little short. No one has really gone through and given information about where to find what the different names are in the original game. So for instance, I did manage to find that the sylphs were originally called Tian Lun, which basically means person from heaven, or like a celestial being. It's kind of a vague term. There are a lot of different types of beings you would find in the heavens, but that's what it means, referring to the fact that they are originally from the heavens. And here is a quick little preview of where the items are in Eversun South. One of them is quite close, so I could just go there now. It is very nearby, but most of them I'm just going to wind up doing off screen probably because walking is very slow. Definitely looking forward to being able to fly, but I have to wait till I'm a little higher level and I can handle that boss. Also, we haven't even been to Swan Lake Basin yet. In fact, what I might do, as well as getting some recipes here, is set my character up doing collection. There is a recipe you can get for, not a recipe, I do need to, if I want to make more armor, get some glass from mining, so I could also just show you where the mining is. Alright, so I need to look up Eversun South's recipes. The wiki has a page for that, it's very good. So right up here is where we get the wooden bangle for robes. In this little alcove, the pot will show up soon, there it is. That is one of the level 10 robe items. I'm still trying to decide what I want my next job to be. I have not figured that out yet. There are a lot of really good jobs. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is go down to the east for now. Alright, so there is a little bit of something here, which I was not quite anticipating. This is a baby Bow Wow boss. There are area bosses in all of the areas, sometimes usually multiple of them, and they do drop special items. But right now I don't feel like fighting him, so I'm just going to avoid him. However, I want to show you this pathway which leads down to the mining area because it has different music and some very pretty scenery. There we are. Only that one stretch of pathway has different music and the autumn leaves falling, and I do really like it. So I thought I would just very quickly show that off. And we are nearly to the mining area now. Here are some forest cuckoo llamas, and they are too weak for me to really bother fighting. I will pick up another job and fight them as that job, I believe, to finish off that quest for the assault officer. Since you have so many different jobs, you're going to be coming back to quests with low-level quests with different jobs. They've sort of spaced out the early level part of the game so that you can keep doing quests with different level jobs, and it's a good way to level up all the different jobs. So this is the mining area, and somewhere in here, I don't quite remember where, you will find the recipe pot. And all of the collection areas are guarded by royal guards. It's not really a big deal in this part of the game, but in much higher level areas, like East Sea Plain, you could wind up in some trouble when you're collecting items and an enemy tries to kill you, and the royal guards will kill them immediately. Doesn't matter what level the enemy is, they will kill it if it comes into the collection area. So I do appreciate them, even if they're not very useful in this part of the game. Alright, so the recipe I need Actually, it seems like there are two recipes here. They are one to the west and one much further to the east. Okay, I think I remember. So one is going to be over here. I will show you this one. The mines are quite big, so might as well get a look at where it is. It's somewhere around, I believe, up here in this corner. I hope. If not, I'll get to feel like an idiot. I do have a bad sense of direction. I believe I have told you this already quite a few times. It might have been up there, actually. Some of these platforms you can actually climb on. Okay, it actually tells you the exact coordinates. 641, 604. So that's actually going to be... Doesn't seem right. You see, I'm very bad at this. Oh no, this is the one I'm looking for. It's 523, 564. So... I definitely went a little wrong. I believe that one of these you climb up and the pot is on them. I think it might be this one. Can I see the stairs, please? Oh no, the stairs glitch strikes again! If there's one glitch in this game, it's that your character hates walking upstairs and it's very easy to get stuck on them. It seems to be worse sometimes, and you can usually click physically on a different part of the stage in order to try to avoid the little glitch. Might actually be up this one, in which case that could be awkward because I also can't seem to get up these stairs at the moment. There we are. I feel like the recipe is somewhere on this platform, so I just need to find it. Since this one's a little tricky, there we are. I will record it. All right, there we have reinforced leather boots. I believe that's more of the light armor set. I will be keeping this set of light armor because it is actually possible to get from another job, Blade Master, the ability to equip light armor. And light armor is, in the opinion of many, the best armor in the game. Obviously, opinions vary, but I do think it's a very good armor. It has the second highest defense stat, while not having any downsides to it the way that the most defensive armor, the heavy armor, does. I will talk more about the pros and cons of all the different armor later on. Right now I don't really want to overwhelm you, but that's the basic gist of it. It's very good armor. Here he'll just sell you the collection tools like the picks for doing mining, and he will refine your stuff for you. And the last recipe should be in here. There is a little mine area in here, and the recipe should be in this area somewhere. And now you see we have wild flying poo-poo. They are higher level. I think they might aggro on you if you attack one of them. So if you're going to fight them, you probably want to have a little bit of distance. Here's another baby Baobab boss. I have a feeling he might aggro on me, and there's also a zombie in there. But I just want the recipe for now. And here we have Robe. That is the robe used by all of the magic users. It has very poor physical defense, but very high magical defense. So it does have some benefits, but yep. There we are. All right, I'm actually trying to decide if I want to just do some mining while I'm here, but the thing is, it turns out, without leveling up my mining a bit more, and my alchemy needs to be level 5 in order to make the level 15 armor set. I looked it up. So I do need to do some more alchemy. Probably want to wind up taking up some other jobs and making the level 10 tools for them, and then I can get more benefit out of working on my alchemy with these lower level jobs. I'm just going to auto walk to the next location, and I won't bore you with all of that. I just need to get the items for now. Alright, I have got all of the recipes in Eversun City, Eversun South, and now I need to find the recipes in Eversun North. Here you can see a quick map of where they are. I will include in a pinned comment a link to the page on the wiki which shows the full map so that you can find all the recipes yourself. And so at this point we need to get going and look for the recipes, and right now it's very stormy outside in the game. It's very pretty. One thing I don't think we have in the game is snow. I would have loved that as a feature, but what can you do? Alright, so let's just take a quick peek at the map here. You can see here is the farm where you do the collection in order to get stuff for making medicine, and same with the fishing spot. That's what this is used for. thus I'm not really going to be doing that. However, here's the pasture, where you gather items for making the robes. There is a dungeon over here, Bower Family Crypt. This is basically the third dungeon in the game, which you can go to. The enemies are minimum of level 16, and there are also some pretty high level bosses for this part of the game, which are like level 25. So you won't spend a lot of time here just yet, but it is a good location to train, and it also has some recipes. And here is the mortuary. We actually have a quest in the mortuary, and I might start that quest in the next episode, probably. I may want to start doing a little bit of questing, and also when I get friends that are a little higher, I may want to either go on to another area like Swan Lake Basin, or I might want to pick up another secondary job and do some of the early level quests that I haven't finished yet with that job, because you just level up so quickly in this game. Alright, so I'm going to go find those recipes. Don't worry about it. I won't show it all because it's very tedious. Alright, so I thought I would actually show you the recipe pot, which is by the fishing spot. Mainly because I want to show you the fishing spot. It has a cute little pavilion and I do really like it, even though I don't actually use this area much. You can see that if you stand right by the water, then you could fish if you had a fishing rod, which I am not going to bother with. And the pot is right here behind this signpost. It's just a nice little secluded area that I quite like, so I thought I would very quickly show it off. I really like a lot of the scenery and the trees and the grass and flowers in this game. It's all really well done. And because it's very stylized, I think it's aged very well, and it still looks really cute and charming. Even if obviously newer systems can do fancier, more realistic things, this still just looks cute and sweet. And honestly, the reflections in the water are not bad. Alright, I have almost all of the recipes, so I will just go get the rest of them off screen and not bore you too much. This does take a little bit of time, but then once you're done, you never have to do it again, unless you are playing as a new character. Alright, I think this is going to be the end of the episode. At this fork in the road here, we go up to the mortuary. Don't worry about Sonia, you need to talk to her later in order to do the mission to become a doctor. You don't talk to her first, she's part of the mission. And here are the zombies. Zombies are honestly possibly one of my favorite enemies. They're so funny. So a Chinese zombie, quote unquote, is a jiangshi, which I don't know if this is the perfect translation, but they're hopping corpses. The idea is that rigor mortis has made their limbs stiff and they can only hop. You'll actually see them in a lot of Chinese media, although not in live action, because for very bizarre reasons which I will never quite understand, the CCP has decided that live action films and television are not allowed to depict jiangshi, which I've never understood the reasoning for it. I mean, it's censorship, it is not reasonable, but they're not allowed to in live action. However, if you've watched the donghua, the anime of Mo Dao Zu Shi, you will have seen jiangshi in it quite a lot because it is all about necromancy. It's a world where this happens every single day in that setting. So, the zombies are metal, so you need to use fire attacks on them. And they are not that tough on their own, but when one of them is nearby and notices you attacking them, they will all start mobbing on you. So you do need to be careful in this area, especially if you are a more squishy, soft job. So the last recipe is in this area, and I'm going to go get it, and I will also talk to the mortuary guy. He is in this region too. That way I can just finish off the episode that way, and we can do some more of the mortuary quest next episode. I'm actually about the right level now for it. The demonic zombies are level 13. So I feel like I'm at the right level where if I do play around a bit here, I won't be killed by them. Alright, so the straw sandals are a little bit further up past... Oh, actually, they're in this area. Okay. I think they're probably going to be behind the fence. And the demonic zombies are a little bit stronger than the regular zombies, so you do need to be wary of that. This is related to a quest much later on. Yes, this is actually for the first Fencer life quest. These guys have kidnapped this guy's daughter, and he wants a Fencer to help them. These vagrants look like nasty pieces of work. Oh, yeah, I missed that. It's fine. All of you shut up. But yeah, I can't do that yet. It's a level 20 life quest. Here is the pot. And I'm going to go talk to the mortuary guy. Actually, you know what? Let's just leave out and do the entire mortuary mission next episode. We can really have some fun fighting with these zombies and seeing the full mortuary. So for now, this is the end of the episode. We didn't do as much of the crafting as I wanted. I would have liked to actually craft a full set of armor for another job or something like that. I could just put it in the bank until I need it, but wound up in the mortuary and I said, why not just do the mortuary quest? I'm about the right level for it now as a fencer, so it works out nicely. There's a boss you have to do in that quest who is level 15, and she's fairly tough, so you might want to be a little higher level than her, like 16 or 17, but I'm about the right range for it. As I do the quest and maybe do a few other fights elsewhere, I will get to that level, and that will work out very nicely. For now, we do have a really nice repertoire of recipes now. I have a few pieces of level 15 heavy armor, and I have, I think, most of the level 10 armor. I'm not sure if I have all of it. Helm, jerkin, boots, those are the higher level boots, chaps, and wrist guards. So I do actually have, I think, the whole thing. Alright, excellent. I also have the level 10 clothing set and a few pieces of the level 15 clothing set. And then I have the entire level 10 robe set. Don't have any of the dancer's costumes yet, those are a little bit in later areas. And I do have a few healing potions, which I'll probably not be using. Alright, so now we know the basics of alchemy. I will once again reiterate that unless you really do want to make a lot of medical items, which honestly, I don't think they're that great. Like, just sub-doctor and get healing abilities from that. Don't really worry about fishing or about farming. Save all of your skill points for the other ones and for alchemy. Alright, that was another episode, and up next we are going to play around in the mortuary. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Until then, bye!